And no to Speaker Johnson's bill, which gives massive tax breaks to billionaires. So let me spend a moment talking about stuff that you don't see much about on TV or read about in the papers or hear much about in Congress. And that is that right now, in an unprecedented way, we as Americans are living in an oligarchic form of society. And what that means is that right now, no one disputes this, we have more income and wealth inequality in America today than we have ever had in the history of this country. You have one person, let me tell you how absurd it is, and you don't hear it discussed in Congress much. Some of us do, but not many. You don't hear it discussed on the media. You got one guy, one person, Mr. Musk. You heard of Mr. Musk? This guy, one person, owns more wealth than the bottom 52% of American households. You got that? There is nobody in this country who thinks that that is appropriate. You got in America today the top 1% owning more wealth than the bottom 93%. You have the CEOs of large corporations now making 350 times more than their average worker. But it is not, when we talk about the economy, it's not just income and wealth inequality. It is a nation in which we have more concentration of ownership than we have ever had in our history. No matter what the sector may be, whether it's agriculture, transportation, financial services, healthcare, big tech, media, what you have is fewer and fewer very large corporations controlling what is produced and the prices we pay when we go into a grocery store or wherever. So you have more concentration of ownership than ever before. And you add all of that together, huge corporate profits, rich getting richer, what we have now is a society of, in a sense, two nations. In one sense, you have the people on top doing phenomenally well, never have done better. But there is another reality, and that is that while the richest people are doing phenomenally well, working class people are struggling to put food on the table, struggling to pay their health care bills, and struggling to find affordable housing. But when you talk about the economy, and you talk about wealth in this country, I want everybody to understand, again, very important point that is almost never discussed. It's not just that the rich have enormous economic power. They do, unprecedented. They have enormous political power. So let me be as clear as I can be. We are living now under a corrupt campaign finance system. "15 years ago or so, the Supreme Court, in a disastrous decision called Citizens United, essentially said that billionaires can spend as much money as they want to buy and sell politicians. And that is exactly what is going on today. If you want to know how come Elon Musk became the most powerful man in government, running all over, throwing thousands of federal workers out on the street, running to dismantle the Social Security Administration, proposing to throw 83,000 employees of the Veterans Administration out on the street. I will tell you how Elon Musk got that job. He contributed $270 million to get Trump elected. That is obscene. And I'll tell you something else, that right now as we debate, and the Johnson bill is coming to the Senate literally in a few days, and as we debate that bill, if you think there is a member of the House of Representatives, a Republican member, who is prepared to stand up against this bill without knowing that if this guy stands up and he says, you know what, I represent the low-income district, I don't think cutting Medicaid is a good idea to give tax breaks to the rich. You know what happens to that guy? On the next day, Mr. Musk says, we are going to primary you. You are out of here. I own the system. You cannot defy what we want. That's the Republicans. And the Democrats also have billionaires controlling what goes on in that party. So it's not just Republicans. And I will give you an example, and some of you will agree with me, and that's fine. I happen to be a believer in democracy. I think that's a pretty good idea.